Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast. We made it. It's finally Daytona week. I'm Aries.
I'm Austin.
I'm Nicole, and I need someone to remind me that Lauren Heinrich is in car number 7 because I forget that, and I have never in the existence of car number 7 cared about car number 7. So I actually need to be reminded of that. Please, thank you.
It will be an interesting paradigm shift. It's going to be an interesting season reminding you of that all the
I mean,
time.
let's be very clear here. I am still very much all in on car number 6. I don't think
Shocker.
anybody is shocked by that.
No,
But
I'm
I
completely
need
shocked.
to remember for the long races that I have a reason to also support car number 7. Because, yeah, I think we all know I'm a huge Lauren Heinrich fan and have been for a while. I really wish he was in the car with Kevin and Larry. It would be so much easier on me. But, he's not, so. Yeah, just everybody please call me out when I'm completely ignoring the 7 during these long races and only paying attention to the 6.
I'll be there, so I'll just keep reminding you in person.
Yeah.
Like that friendly nudge, like, hey, don't forget the other one.
Lauren already kinda sorta knows that something is going to happen on Wednesday, but on Wednesday it will definitely be clear that I am a fan of his.
All I'm saying is remember when I taunted Kevin that something was gonna happen and he had to be on his toes? Something happened. It's arrived. It's here. This is what you had to be on your toes for, Kevin. You'll see it this weekend.
Again, as usual, I'm the one staying put while these two are off gallivanting at some racetrack. But yeah, it will be an interesting week. I will stay tuned. So I suggest you guys do as well. Us. In the meantime, speaking of longer races, this weekend we did have the Dubai 24 hours. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit of a distance away from Daytona, but we can say we've already had this year's first 24-hour race. Did I watch it? Not really. I don't usually watch the Dubai 24-hour, but apparently a lot of stuff happened that got people scratching their heads about how did an event manage to completely descend into chaos.
Multiple
I
times.
get,
Yeah.
a whole lot of head loss, to put it simply. What caught my attention was something that Christian Mansell tweeted about, and I didn't see a lot of people talking about it, surprisingly, because that's kind of a big deal. How do you, as an event organizer, not realize that one of the fuel stations, because it's organized a bit differently to like other races, so cars refuel at a different place than pit lane. How do you not realize that one of your fuel stations is dry, leading to one of the cars losing 5 laps? Like, how does this happen? Somebody enlighten me, please, because I can't make sense of this. Someone probably got fired for that.
With the way that series runs, I don't know that I think that it does, because that just like the way that refueling works is a perfect example. They don't refuel at their own pits like a normal race. There is a special refueling place. It's very odd to me. And again, I don't know that I've ever watched even 10 hours of the 24 hours of Dubai. So it's one of those, I just kind of check up on how cars that I like are doing from time to time.
Yes.
So,
but yeah. I mean, I guess you're probably pleased that Antares' Porsche was victorious in its class.
I feel like you're probably pleased.
I was about to say,
I think you're the biggest fan of his of the three of us.
I am.
Yeah, I think we're pleased for it for like different reasons. I'm pleased for it because of Loke. You're pleased of it for Antares. Nick's just pleased for it because it's a Porsche.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, most of the cars in the race were a Porsche. Let's be
Yeah,
serious.
but still, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I am becoming more and more of a fan of Antares, so like he is pretty cool. I like seeing him do well. Hopefully not too well in WEC this year. Like just well enough.
Yeah, we cannot forget that arrangement.
Yeah.
It still is crazy to me. Like every time I remember, I'm like, oh yeah.
He's one of those guys that, like, same thing with Ryan Hardwick. Like, you forget they're a bronze driver because they're so good.
Yeah.
That, like, like, it wasn't even that long ago that Ryan was with a different brand. Like, so it's not crazy that if McLaren's the one that's giving Antares the opportunity to compete in WEC full time, that he's going to take it. It's just, yeah, like because some bronze drivers you like, okay, whatever, they're gonna do whatever car they have the opportunity to. But it's just some of them feel like they're good enough that you'd think they'd be able to get the car they'd prefer. And based on the fact that Antares is doing everything else in a Porsche, you would assume that that would have been first choice.
Yeah.
But you know, the two lineups Porsche has are insane, so I kind of get why they went the direction they went. Yep.
Stuff that just makes sense. Then, if we're on about lineups, well, I guess probably the biggest thing that happened last week was the whole Ford live stream on YouTube. I guess everybody and their mother was tuned in because that's all I could see on my timeline for a full 2 days.
Because it was across every series.
Yes.
Series.
Yes.
Like no matter, like, I don't really follow Formula One on Twitter, but because the sports car stuff was there, it was all over the place on my time.
Yeah, like I mainly saw it because it was like, oh, NASCAR's there and sports car stuff. And so then it was like, here's some F1 bits and pieces too if you'd want that. But it was like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lineups. So we did get confirmation of the lineups for the factory-packed Mustangs across WEC and IMSA. And we also did get confirmation of the first three of the hypercar drivers. So,
which they announced as a lineup, but I don't think are a lineup. I think that's just 3 drivers.
yeah.
It could be a lineup, but I think that's just 3 drivers.
Or they could be pulling the Genesis.
They could.
I'm just saying, at this rate, I'm not putting anything away as a possibility.
It was Seb Priol, who I think everybody knew was getting this seat. Mike Rockenfeller, who that's like an Andre Lauderer kind of choice, obviously.
Yes.
And it's funny because I had a friend of mine be like, I don't know who the old guy is. And I'm like, okay, that man's a legend. Put some respect on his name. Go Google him. Like his one Lamar. Like,
put some respect on his name.
Put respect on his name. Which, again, like, I'm not trying to gatekeep, and I definitely did say it in, like, not an, oh my god, how do you not know who that is, but, like, also, you can Google names. Like, that's what, not with this person in particular, this friend of mine, but people in general who are clueless about who someone is, we live in the most, like, connected time in the history of humanity. If you don't know who someone is, you can Google them. Like, if you don't know who Mike Rockenfeller is, Google Mike Rockenfeller. And then, obviously, the reason everybody on the internet was talking about it is Logan Sargent was announced. Don't know how I feel about these 3 as the first people to be announced. I think it is an overly experienced announcement, honestly. Saying that with, like, obviously the fact that Logan and Seb have not driven in, you know, this level of sports car racing. But it's just, I don't know, to me it it feels like they should have had some sort of announcement that was a little more like, okay, these are our junior guys, like what they did with Matthew Gilbert. Like, there should have
Yes.
been something like that, and it was just like, nope, we are going with the most experienced group of people we could possibly cobble together.
Yeah.
Um, I
Especially
mean,
after
that's not a bad thing.
No, but especially after like there were articles that were almost making it seem like Ford for guys was like going to be in a situation where they were getting like guys for these cars to develop them that were possibly not going to have like full-time seats in the car, and then these three were
That's
announced
what
as like,
everyone thought was going to happen with Rocky. Was
yeah,
that he was going to develop this car and then not actually get to race it. So, like, the fact that he's been announced that he will be racing this car next year is fantastic. Um, I'm confused where Chris Mees is in this because, like, it was essentially confirmed over the past year that he was going to be part of this program. Like, more so than Rocky. And he's nowhere. So, it's interesting to me.
yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be surprised if just over time something happened there. And that's why he's not part of this announcement.
It could just be something that they're waiting, like, seeing who they can get. Obviously, Felipe Nasser's been linked to this program. Matt Campbell's been linked to this program. Who knows who else could be linked to this program? This is the program most likely that when Max Verstappen rage quits Formula One, he will go to. So you kind of need to keep that as an option too. Okay, who's your guy you kick out when at the end of 2026 Max says I'm done? So you almost need to keep a burner spot available for him. Because
yeah,
he's said multiple times during the off season, I want to do WEC. I really don't care about doing anything else. I want to do WEC. So I think that there is a spot that has his name penciled in. Do I think it's necessarily for 2027? Probably not, but it might be.
maybe they're like you guys said, like maybe they're waiting on stuff to fall into place, or maybe Chris Mees will end up being part of the program after all, or maybe they're just gonna keep him stuck to the Mustang.
And one of the things that I know happened over this past off season, the one that's like just ending, is with the WEC teams delaying so long on their lineups was they were waiting to see what Kevin Estre was going to do. And I've had that 100% confirmed. That's not like a, well, I think that because of, no, like actual journalists in the World Endurance Championship have said there were, I think that Graham said it on This Week in Sports Cars at one point. Like that there was delay to wait and see what Kevin was going to do. Obviously, he chose to do IMSA. So there could be some of that too if all of these rumors about Porsche shuttering the 963 program, you then have huge names, in addition to Matt and Felipe, who are already being looked at. You then have Lawrence Vantor potentially. You have Julian Anlauer, who also has a Le Mans class victory. Like, I think people, because he's so young and it was so long ago, people overlook that.
Remember 2018?
Um, he did that at 18 years old. And I think was just so overshadowed by what the Pink Pig did, and then the fact that Matt became a bigger name quicker. It got so overshadowed that Julian has a class win from 2018. Like, he would be a major steal for any program. And yeah, I think that the whole Porsche thing is going to have a lot of teams like, ooh, we're not going to confirm our lineups too early because we want to see what they're going to do.
The race basically said that that's kind of what Ford's doing, is like, hypothetically they're in a situation of they are very much looking at Porsche and kind of waiting to see what happens in that deal. So
Yeah.
it's basically been flat out said that's going to happen. It's also not like Ford doesn't like former Porsche drivers. Looking at you, Dennis and Seb.
Yeah.
Both baby Porsche drivers and now are with Ford. So, just saying. It's not like they are kind of like Genesis in that sense.
Yeah, it is funny
Not wrong.
how last year, as soon as, or 2 years ago, I guess, as soon as it was clear how good Seb Priol was, Ford was like, nope, we are taking him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't like a Porsche contracted driver. He was just driving Rexy. And once it became clear that he was really good, Ford was like, nope, you are ours. We are taking you back. You belong to us.
Yeah. You are
Because
our child.
he had a weird, semi-existent Ford contract while he was driving for Porsche.
He was a very awkward situation.
So, I mean, it's kind of like what Jobert's doing right now. Like, he drove a Porsche this past weekend, and he is a Genesis factory driver. Like, I get that Genesis doesn't have a GT program, but still, that's wild. Like,
I mean, wasn't he
I
just
know
go
that
back to the
there's
group?
precedent with it,
Yeah.
but like for a young guy like that to be like, I feel like it's different when Jules Gounon does it because he is such an established driver. For somebody that is like a baby driver, hopping programs like that.
I mean, obviously Genesis is okay with them doing it because he's not the only one doing it, because Danny's also doing it too. So,
is Danny running 2 full factory contracts?
I think
so. Because, like, Jules doing that.
I think so, and then because basically he ended his Chevy one.
So he's not.
I think he ended his Chevy
one. Okay. Because I wouldn't have been shocked if he was pulling a Gounon. Like,
because
Gounon obviously has 2 full factory contracts.
But then he kind of made a goodbye Chevy announcement, but left it up in the air of the way he kind of made the announcement was there's possibility that I may not this year but next year kind of come back and do stuff with Chevy. So it kind of almost seems like it's open-ended for him to come back to the
right. But he's currently not factory contracted with both brands.
Is.
Yeah.
Or at least he's made it seem as if he isn't.
Right. Makes.
Well, regarding Ford, there's a lot we're still yet to be sure of, but one thing we can be sure of, it's all very blue and very electric.
Yes.
Because that color is old.
Man, it's so bright. It's very eye-burning and everything. It's not just the cars, it's the race suits, and then they've all changed their helmets, and a lot of them have that bright blue as a main helmet color now too. So they just look like dark blue highlighters.
It's very good cohesive branding because it's the same shade of blue that Red Bull has on the front of their team polos. So Ford did a very good job fully cohesively branding Ford Motorsport. Good job, guys.
Yes. And all I know is my favorite part of the announcement was they announced their Bathurst lineup, and Dennis is doing Bathurst again, and I think that's very exciting, because obviously, 2019, I liked that, but I don't want him to win this Bathurst. But exciting that he's coming back and doing Bathurst again. Also exciting that Ford is doing Bathurst. But also, I will say this. We've talked about how Alpine is called the Smurfs. I think Alpine's going to need to move aside. Ford is now the Smurfs because all of the drivers' comments on each other's post about the weekend were just like gifs of Smurfs. So I think Ford is also now the Smurfs. So there's going to need to be a war between Alpine and Ford for who can be called the Smurfs.
Does this
Nice.
will this make Belgium their second home race? The Smurfs are Belgian.
They are.
Very
we'll have to
nice,
ask
very
Ford
nice.
and Alpine how they feel about that.
Yes.
And then away from that and onto the Roar and the fact that we actually got a Roar broadcast. That was a surprise. We got multiple, 2 of them actually. And there were just a lot of silly commentary throughout the broadcast. So we were just going to kind of talk about some of those things. Apparently, Earl Bamber is acting as Connor Zilish's honorary father, in the sense that Connor is not old enough to get his rental car or his hotel room, and Earl apparently needed to help him.
Yeah, they told whole story about how Connor couldn't get his rental car because he's not even 21. Like,
No.
it's not a matter of like, oh, the rental car was going to have that under 25 surcharge. Like, he is not even 21, and rental companies just don't let you rent if you're under 21. It doesn't matter if you're a professional racing driver. And then checking into the hotel, he had that exact same issue. They were like, well, we need an adult guardian to sign you into this hotel. You can have the hotel room. We just need an adult to say they will take responsibility for you. So he had to call Earl, and Earl had to come down and be his responsible adult. And I thought that was just hilarious.
I mean,
It
of
is.
all the other drivers in that lineup, I would say of the 3 others, Earl would be the one to pick to be your honorary father figure.
Who knows? It may have needed to be like a real adult because Fred and Jack are not that old. So
No, they are not, especially Fred. They're like
they
not
may
that
not
far
have
off
been
of age.
old enough to be Connor's responsible adult.
But it was just funny. The other thing, they spent a large amount of the broadcast talking about Matt, which I was completely fine with that. But it did get into Matt and his language barrier, which if any driver to talk about a language barrier, I will say I didn't expect it to be an English native
Kevin
speaker.
said that Matt has a language barrier with the rest of the team. Like, that was my first thought when that came up, was like, Kevin mentioned this in the interview.
Yes, but of all of the examples for them to use, I was like, I'm not expecting it to be Matt, but it was in fact Matt, and I'm like, okay, I think we're really just learning Matt has issues with other English speakers, because apparently he speaks way too fast to where you couldn't understand him in his accent when he first moved away from Australia. And then he just uses different words for things, because apparently
Yes, like the C word.
Yeah, well, yes, the
They
C
implied
word.
that so many times while they were talking about him.
Indeed,
Okay.
they did.
1, it's iconic. 2, there's the literal video evidence from Porsche that he does. So we all knew that. But then 3, it's not just the C word. It's also apparently slicks are called greens. And so this boy's just yelling colors. And everyone's like, what do you mean? Which I think is great. But I'm also hoping that he has grown out of this. But Kevin made it almost seem like
I was gonna say, Kevin, we talked to Kevin like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, whatever it was, November,
Yeah.
and he said that Matt's kind of hard to understand with his accent, so I don't think that Matt has grown out.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it was just way worse back then, which if it's still a problem, I can only imagine how bad it was.
Let's ask Julian about this.
Yes.
They have experience from way back.
They do. Hey, Julian, we want to talk to you about 2018.
But not about winning or
No.
about you. We would like to know your opinion on Matt Campbell's accent. Is that not the most us question, though?
Okay, but it's really
Yes.
important information to know, because Julian
It
is the only one
is.
who's, like, from back then raced with him, and now. So
Yes.
he has the data to be able to cross-reference.
Right? From their 2 practice sessions where they were in the 6 together at Petite.
And probably Julian was complaining a bunch. He probably got called the C word a couple of times.
Yes. Let's see, where did we got lost in the notes? Julian Anlauer is not in the Royal Broadcast
Julian-
notes.
No.
Oh, yes!
The other best
middle
part of
finger.
the broadcast. If you're a Corvette driver and you give a BMW the middle finger, you might have some words from your mother afterwards.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
I think that was the most random comment I think they could have made about. It was a bunch of random stories, yes, and I feel like that was the most unexpected.
What I liked about this Roar broadcast, because like they didn't have any time to prep for it.
No.
Both Matt and Ryan have said like they found out 2 hours before, hey, you're doing a full session broadcast. So they had no time. It was basically your middle of the night overnight commentary in a 24-hour
Yes.
race, but
Yes.
like at a normal time.
Yes.
It was that level of commentary.
No, that's why when I tweeted about it, I was like, it really did give the vibes of like you're just chilling with your friends, like your mates,
Yeah.
just talking about racing, because that was just the vibe it was.
Yes. Honestly, they obviously there's been a whole bunch of talk on, at least on Twitter, about how they should do this more often after this sort of experiment. I don't know if you can call it an experiment. It was, as they put it in the title, it was a surprise and a very welcome surprise. It was like therapy because we had been left without race cars, at least sports cars, for so long. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're doing this broadcast for 2 hours. We're just gonna be seeing cars go around, have random talks about whatever is going on and past experiences, and little things that happen over time. And I'm like, yeah, sure, sign me in for this. And well, it was, I feel like, the best way to, I guess, get us into the race week mentality. Because I guess we were already looking forward to it. Now we are even more so because after they did this sort of thing.
Yeah, and before they did the surprise broadcasts, they had a live stream for 2 of the sessions on Instagram, and it was just someone with their phone walking around the paddock and like showing the track and who hears a car, and which I thought was cool too. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll do that from the paddock. I'll go live on. Are we able to go live on the podcast?
I think we are.
How do you go live?
OFB,
How do you do that?
OFB broadcast practice.
Right, because I would love to do that. I just don't know if that's a thing that we have the ability to do. Because we don't have like a fancy paid account. If we're able to go live, if I can figure out how we can go live, I will try to do that from Daytona.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any sort of go live thing. I don't know, maybe I can pay for a month.
I found it.
Where is it?
I just went to like the plus sign.
I don't have it as an option on the podcast account, so.
Interesting. We will figure this out.
Yes, we will
Yes.
figure this out. And if we can go live, we'll go live.
Imagine that. Yeah, this is gonna be. It's gonna
I
be
think going
fun.
live would be fun.
I figured it out. We can't.
Why?
You need to have at least 1,000 followers.
So we will not be able to go live unless we get 800 more followers between now and Daytona.
They apparently
Guy.
changed that last year.
Get
'Cause
click.
I was gonna say, I know that like random small accounts used to be able to go live.
Yeah,
So.
apparently,
Yeah.
from what I'm reading, this is on the Instagram website itself. Only Instagram
Yeah.
users who have a public account with 1,000 followers or more.
Yeah, so we will not be going live apparently, but I can probably make some videos that are just us wandering around and then post them to the stories. That'll be fun.
Yeah. If anything, maybe
Yeah.
we could do a TikTok live.
Yeah, we might be able to do a TikTok live. I don't know.
I'm
how
just
to
trying
do
to think
those
of
either.
other platforms.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yes,
I know you can go
TikTok.
live on TikTok.
Yes. We do have the capacity to go live on TikTok. I see it right here live. So we might go live on TikTok from Daytona.
Yeah. So follow our TikTok.
Yeah, follow us on everything because last year we posted so much that Lauren Heinrich recognized us at dinner. So,
Yes.
Just, to be aware of the amount of content we will be posting this week. It's gonna be a lot. It'll be fun. Follow along with us.
Yeah, be prepared.
But yes, Tommy Milner's mom was mad, so that was
Yes.
funny. What else do we have? Back to what we were supposed to be talking about, not going live on TikTok.
That was a detour as long as the Nordschleife, but we're back on track.
That was great. That was a great line.
Yeah. The one thing the one takeaway I have from this war is who in the world is cursing the Valkyrie? Because they
seriously.
did have electrical issues at the end of year test, and now for the war they had more electrical issues. So come on.
So what I've determined, so on the live stream, they were talking about Daytona and how the Speedway is like IMS because it chooses its winner. And so I think the Valkyrie somehow has upset Daytona, and she's just destined them to issues with the car, is what it
This
seems
is a
like.
question that I want to ask drivers in the future. Is that something that's only specific to a few tracks? Because you hear people say it about Le Mans. That is out of your control. That race is choosing whether it wants you to win. Obviously, it's said about the Indy 500. The Speedway chooses her winner. They were saying, Matt and Ryan were saying that Daytona's like that. But, I really wonder whether drivers think that every single track is like that. Again, yes, every time we talk about drivers, I'm going to probably reference the Kevin interview. Kevin said he does believe in luck. So, is that maybe part of luck? Is, does the track want you to win?
Maybe.
Yeah, this is something I want to know.
Yeah.
What I want to know other things more, so this is probably not going to be like a this weekend rapid fire question. I have a question in mind that I'm going to ask every driver I encounter in the paddock, and then put together a big mass compilation of their answers. It will be a good one.
I look forward to it.
And then as far as the actual sessions went, what do you mean car number 6 was in the top 5 in every single session? This
Yeah.
is like good and not good. Like, yay, I'm glad the car runs well. And I understand that they were still like, what, 3-4 seconds off pole pace from last year. So like it wasn't ultimate top speed pace, and there's probably a chance that it's not actually going to affect BOP because everyone was just running slow, right? Everyone was running in the same realm pace wise, but it does worry me that we're gonna get completely nerfed. So not too thrilled about that. But Kevin was fastest. Good job, Kevin. He was fastest in one of the sessions.
Yes. My favorite thing was Sports Car 365 when they were talking about Larry being the fastest, but then the photo they used was not of Larry. It was very much so
It was
of Matt.
Matt.
I was like,
That was a great picture.
it was a great photo. Great photo. But I was like, that is not Larry.
The only thing that makes me want to buy a camera is to get glowing brake shots.
Yes.
Because, like, trying to get those on a phone is pretty tough. But
I have a camera. It's just one of those things where it's like, I already have my backpack full of stuff, and I don't want to be lugging my camera bag, like,
yeah.
everywhere with me, sort of deal.
Yeah. And then today, everybody was doing their little few days off activities, which seemed like it was golf, guns, and bikes. Like, everybody went golfing, but then the Manti First Form guys went to a gun range.
Yes.
Because America, I guess?
America,
I'm
that's the
assuming
old
that was
explanation.
Ryan's influence, the gun range.
No, it was definitely Morris.
Yes. Huge gun range fans there in the Netherlands.
Yes.
But yes, very, very amusing social media from people. We did get to see Julian and Matt do some golfing. Kevin was there, according to his Instagram, but we did not get to see him golfing. Very disappointed in that. Kevin, post some pictures of yourself golfing.
I got golf content from Matt, so I'm happy with that. Thanks, Julian. But the funnier content to me was the stuff away from golf, guns, and bikes, and one of them was Ben Barker in a kid's playhouse.
Ben Barker might be the most unhinged driver this year. Like,
yes,
he
I'm
is
so here
very
for it.
early in the lead for most unhinged driver this year.
All I know is, Ben, your social media content so far for this year has been great. It's been iconic. Please don't stop. But also, where was this random children's playhouse? And why did it look like Ben was stuck in it?
It did.
It did. I was like, okay. And then the other one was, I guess after Guns, the First Form Manti guys went to Target. And they got a tape measure. And they just started measuring things in the Target.
It gave the vibes of somebody gave Morris and Ricardo, like, oh, these children need supervision. Leets, here, you can supervise them. Or Ryan, here, you can supervise them. And whichever one was supposed to be supervising was like, okay, but what if I want to bring my buddy to supervise them with me? And like, actually, Richard Leets and Ryan Hardwick are the immature ones of the group.
Yeah.
They were like definitely the ones instigating all this chaos, in my opinion.
100%. Everything was like from Leets too, like his, like, he was the one posting all this stuff too, so it very much gave like Leets as the instigator of all this stuff. But then they posted a video of them like measuring a hose, and I was just like, what is going on here in this Target? Like,
I'm so here for it though.
I was so here for
fun.
it, but at the same time I was also like, what is happening? It very much so gave the vibes of like, you have ADHD and your brain's just moving 30 miles an hour and like off more than 30 miles per hour. It's like 100 miles per hour, like going insane, and like you're going off vibes alone.
I feel like if I was standing in a Target and my brain was going 30 miles an hour, that would feel pretty fast.
Yeah, which is why I used 30 first, but then I was like, but that actually feels like a low number. So then I felt like I needed to use a higher number. But in my eyes, I'm like, if my brain's moving at 30 miles per hour, I feel like that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why is my brain moving so quick? Damn. I think it's hilarious that Miami is the away team at their own stadium.
Yes.
It's very funny to me.
Yes, just periodic football updates for a game that will have been over 2 days ago by the time this episode comes out.
America.
It's content.
Sure.
We're being unhinged.
Yes. I guess kind of going back to the Ford launch, because Red Bull was there. They were part of the Ford launch.
Yes.
Yes, because they're starting to use engines that have 410s in them. So why not tie it all together and launch it in the same event?
At 4 a.m. in the EU. Like, it was 4 a.m. European time when that launch was. That's a choice.
Very bold one.
Yeah, it's Ford.
Disappointing for some people. Not for us in the correct side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, it was fantastic for us.
It was great for us, but I'm saying it's Ford. I'm expecting a Ford event to be based off our schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I mean, sure, it was midnight for me, but who cares? So their Red Bull's livery, I guess we can say it was a positive change. They finally said goodbye to that. They went back to using a glossy finish, which is something that they've been wanting for the past few hundred years by now. Because like, see, everybody jumped on this bandwagon, and it's so annoying. Like, I want shiny Formula One cars. So they've gone and given us that. And there was a lot of criticism regarding the not AlphaTauri, Racing Bulls livery.
Whatever it's
called. Toro Rosso.
Oh, Rosso, yes. You know what? I'm gonna stick with that one. The white Toro Rosso, which is again white because they were white last year, and that was quite good. This year it's quite good again. I feel like it's an improvement. A lot of people didn't seem to think that for whatever reason.
I think it should have been bright blue. I think it should have used the Ford blue that they're using in all their other cars, and they should have used either white or silver accents. I think that would have been crazy. But then these people that are upset that there are too many blue cars would be even more upset. Because, apparently Alpine does not have the right to a blue car, and, a whole bunch of other teams have more right. This was like all over Twitter because it was an F1 person that originally tweeted it, but it got picked up by sports car accounts. And they started posting pictures of, like, the Alpine in WEC being blue, and just the fact that Alpine, before BWT was the sponsor, was that same color scheme, the, like, French color scheme. The only reason there is any pink on the Alpine is for the same reason that there was the pink Mercedes when it wasn't a Mercedes, and like, BWT sponsors a car, there is pink.
Yes.
So that has nothing to do with that being a color that Alpine should be linked to. That is absolutely a BWT thing. And if they decide to pull out of the sport tomorrow, the Alpine's going to go back to looking like the French flag on wheels.
Yeah. I think for me, it's the way Alpine's F1 livery is when it comes to what base color it is. I've always, since BWT has come along, liked the pink version better, and I think it is just because if Alpine is a blue car, I expect it to be like the French flag Alpine, and it's not that. And so I'm like, okay, then just make it pink, because the pink, at least as in the livery they do now, I feel like has looked better than the blue version that they have. And I think it's purely just because I expect it to be the French flag version when it's the blue car.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
their nickname is literally like blue. Like,
yeah.
just saying.
I do think that there is a lack of color on the what's presumed, like Ferrari's going to be red, of course. McLaren's going to be orange, but that's it. Everything else is going to be blue or white, it seems like.
Caddy, save us, go yellow.
I hope they do.
I hope
they
do,
have
but at
a
this
fantastic yellow to use,
Agreed.
so please use it.
At this point, though, I'm expecting the damn car to be black and silver.
Oh, if it is black, I'm going to be so mad.
It's probably gonna be black with the colored splotches on the fin.
Yeah.
I'm expecting either black, silver, the splotches, black, gold, and the splotches. Like, something of that variety is what I'm expecting, to be flat out honest.
Imagine they used the livery they did a mock-up a while ago, like the blue and white one. It's gonna be another one for people to be pissed at, because it's going to be another blue car.
I will say, though, when you think about a non-sponsored Cadillac factory team, the most recent one we had was Ganassi in both IMSA and WEC. And they used, obviously, the blue in WEC. We probably don't want that because, as we said, there's a billion blue cars on the grid. But the yellow from IMSA is not terrible. There's no chance of them using the red from their logo. Because it's the exact same as Ferrari. They're not gonna put two exactly the same color cars when Ferrari is one of them.
And also, Ferrari is their power unit supply.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that there's a semi-reasonable, especially with the paint coverage regulations that exist now, where you do have to paint your car. Even if it's black, you have to paint your car, so there's not a benefit to running a black car. I think there's a chance we see the yellow. I really do.
I need a Jordan-esque team on the grid again.
It would be
yellow.
Great.
I'm just not. I don't have high hopes.
It's 3-0. Indiana scored. Back to race cars.
See, I have the hockey game updates, which it's 2-1. The Leafs are losing.
Yeah, but that's just a hockey game.
Yeah,
this is the national championship game.
Yeah, I'm saying my phone though keeps buzzing with hockey.
Yes.
I'm just nodding and pretending to understand how scoring works. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving along to the other American team, which is the other American team, which is now very much so allied with a Japanese entity. Because today Haas their own, and it's extremely white, more so white than red, very white.
Yeah. It is what I think everyone wanted Minardi to do. Like, everybody's upset that the Minardi isn't a full white car, but then those same people are upset that the Haas is basically a full white car, because I think a lot of those people wanted to see, as I did, cohesion with the WEC car.
Yeah.
And that also, the WEC car is not using the, like, old Toyota F1 design, really, but it does still kind of give those vibes. I think I think everybody would, if you are of the experience in being an F1 fan, to have seen that old Toyota that had the red and white livery, I think everyone would have loved it if Haas dropped that livery on their car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's just the way this livery looks is more so what I have an issue with, where to me it almost looks like they took the paint bucket tool with white and just applied it to the car. It just, I don't know. It's just not a level of creativity that I thought there would be. It just feels like nothing and very bleh to me.
I think the only thing I can come up with is that they were trying to highlight the Toyota partnership, because that is definitely what draws your eye on the livery, is like the GR up on the airbox, or up on the fin as well. So that that's the only thing that I can really see why they would have done it this way. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that livery. None of them have really inspired me that have come out yet so far, honestly. Like, yeah, the shiny on the Red Bull is cool, but again, I wanted one of those two cars to use the Ford blue, like full on use it, not just use it for
Yeah.
accents.
Yeah.
I
And
was
it's,
sort of expecting, if you've been watching, like, if you watched, like, Formula One Academy last year, like,
Mm-hmm.
was it
yes.
Chloe Champions' car that had a
Yes.
very
Yeah.
pop shade? Sorry, not sides. What am I thinking? A very, like, bright shade of blue, like Ford blue, and the very bold Ford branding, like, on the side of the car.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sort of expected that. So, I was kind of, they it's like they wanted to commit, but at the same time, they were like, "No."
Yeah. I
So I get
expected
that.
if any of the two Racing Bulls, Minardi, Toro Rosso, whatever we want to call them, I expected them more so to be the team that would use the Ford blue, just because their blue that they have been using isn't too far off from it. So I was like, if anyone that I expected of the two to use it, I expected them to. So when their livery came out as basically just being the exact same as last year's, I was like, okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
disappointing that it's just white again.
And well, regarding Haas, I guess maybe if they did something, yes, like you guys said, like if they did something similar to the wet car, or even if they like took that and sort of inverted the color, so it would be a bit of a throwback to the 2000s Toyota team, that would have been interesting. One thing that's driving me up the wall though is the whole Toyota Gazoo Racing branding. That it was all consistent, and now it's suddenly not for reasons that they try to explain, but at the same time, I feel like their explanation only made things more confusing. Like,
And their decision was made too late to do naming changes for Formula One, because those are locked in like middle of last year. Assuming the livery was locked in, because like from what I understand, they should not be under the Gazoo Racing part. They should be under the Toyota Racing part.
Yeah.
But they are very clearly using the Gazoo Racing branding, and they are TGR Haas, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
that's
just
their formal name because they couldn't change it. I'm guessing that either next year, or if not next year, certainly the year after, this will just be the Toyota factory team.
yeah.
I guess.
It's just all very confusing because it was done last minute, so like half of it is with the new system and half of it's with the old system, and it's like we're supposed to kind of just ignore the fact that the Formula One team isn't applying to the new system. It's just very confusing that they're basically like, we have made this switch. Part of our program, though, is still going to use our old name, but ignore that, is very much the vibes it's giving.
If you had to pick one series that Toyota is involved in, the average fan that follows the team that they're involved with isn't going to realize that the team name doesn't make sense. Formula One is that series. So, I guess it makes sense in that way. Like if because the thing is, they made the announcement or the decision too late for it to work for Formula One. That whole decision was based around WEC. So they did it in time for the WEC entry list. So they could lock in as Toyota Racing for WEC. And that's all that mattered to them. The F1 thing was like an afterthought.
It just
Yeah, it was a side
it goes down to consistency again for me of like you can't even have consistency now in your company's name across series. That's just for me that's a big like red flag almost that you can't even have consistency in your team name.
Well, I think they would have if they could have. Like, Formula One does not let you change your. Like, I think that got locked in so long. I really do think it's like in September or something that you have to lock in for next year for Formula One. When was it that the Cadillac, like, formal, yes, it's going to be, whenever that announcement was, is when the F1 entry list is locked in. So, like, at that point, Toyota, I genuinely don't think had made this branding change. Like, they hadn't decided to.
Yeah, it was just I feel like everybody thought they were like dead set on they were going to continue to be known as like TGR,
Right.
not have this weird split.
Yeah.
The split is confusing, though. Like,
Very.
as far as why they've chosen what they've chosen to be Toyota and what they've chosen to be Gazoo Racing.
It's just very confusing, and for me, at the end of the day, it is like, yes, I get like your F1 team has to have the name locked in like earlier, and you prioritize your WEC team. But at the end of the day, if it's all supposed to be one consistent branding thing, it should be one consistent branding thing, even if you have deadlines at a different time. It's just, for me, it looks very messy to have half of your, like, to have a program that's still using your old name, and just expect people to ignore that and push that aside because you prioritize another program.
I see where you're coming from. And well, a funny thing, like at least one of my final thoughts about this. I did pop over to their website, like there was a statement about this whole branding change, and apparently they were part of the reason why they decided to change it is because they were losing the sense of humiliation about com- something to do with competing in the series they're competing, something along those lines like that. I was like, that is not an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just strange.
I guess. Now this actual thought about this, their new car should be called the TS. The wet car should be called the TS070, not the TR010. That bombshell. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole and Racing. Auston is at Auston Trackside. And Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow. Stay orange.